Morning, everyone. So, Bethel Kids looks slightly different at the moment, just because I'm not doing this live from the church. I'm actually doing this at home, sitting at my kitchen table. So it's really cool. But I wanted to make sure that we did have a recording of your updates for this week. So we're going to go straight into Bethel Kids news and updates. Yeah! So, what updates have we got this week? Right, Hannah Hodges has gone to the dentist. Hannah, you look so happy that you're there right now. There is not a smile on sight at all. I hope you had a good time at the dentist. The dentist is a really important thing for you to go to. You do need to make sure your teeth are checked up and always in good condition. So I hope you've been cleaning your teeth after all of the times when you eat sweets and have pop and things like that. And that goes for everybody as well. Everybody needs to make sure that they clean their teeth. Right. Cool. I hope you did have a good time, though, at the dentist. And you got to see your friend's hamster and you got to spend some time with your friend. And apparently, this hamster is named Twinkle Toes. I wonder why he's called Twinkle Toes. Does he like do a dance or something? You'll have to tell us, Hannah. You'll have to let us know if there's a reason why he's called Twinkle Toes or if it's just because he's got sparkly toes. I don't know. It could be he's got sparkly toes. I don't know. Oh, this is an update from the Cutlers. So the Cutlers, Nanny and Grandpa came to visit this week, and as you can see, with Grandpa's phone out, both the boys were right there in the face. So that's really, really cool. T, I love the look on your face. Max, so much concentration going on. It must have been really important, whatever was on that phone. And look at that, all chilling out with Nanny and Grandpa. I tell you what, this photo just grabbed me because of the look on Grandpa's face there. He just looks so happy to be with you guys, and it's so awesome that you got to spend time with your Nanny and Grandpa before like all the lockdown and stuff like that hits. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for sending that in. Oh, yeah, this is Nay apparently attempting an upside down headstand. So that is really cool, Nate. Carry on doing that. But Mummy, you need to get better at capturing these upside down headstands because that's all blurry. That's not good enough. We need some proper nice shots. You have to switch the camera into sport mode or something like that so that you can get it to work. Oh, and this is a cutler sandwich. So unless you have never seen this before, because they don't do it in the deli counter in Tesco's or even in Marks and Sparks for that, this is a cutler sandwich, and it's got a filling of tea. If you can notice where Tyvion is in that sandwich, you're better than I am. Oh, actually, I've just seen him. It's his leg. I can see his leg right there. That's so much fun. So much love going on there. So much cuddles. That's awesome. Oh, and we got a special video as well. See if this video plays. There we are. Cool. So T has learned to ride his bike so that he can go off riding with his brothers on the bikes. And that's really cool. I'm going to have to get you guys some denim jackets because I think you're going to be in a biker gang now. So we'll have to think of a name for your biker gang. The Cutler Biker Gang. Better ideas probably in the post. So yeah, send me through some ideas for what the Cutler Biker Gang could be called. That'd be really cool. I would have to get them some leather jackets or something to wear. I'm sure Alston will probably join you as well. Cool. Miriam from the Pickles is. So, Mummy Pickles found out that she needs to keep an eye on Miriam when she's preparing food because this is Miriam with a face full of Weetabix. I'm sure those Weetabix were so, so tasty, Miriam, that you just had to have some. That's awesome. I love it, love it. Oh, look at that. And I think is that bread or is that saurine? Either way, I would totally go for it myself, Miriam. So no worries there at all. I noticed the exasperation in which the shopping has even been like dropped in the background just to get to the saurine or bread. I'm not sure if it's saurine or bread. You'll have to let us know. It might be banana bread. Could it be banana bread? Oh, banana bread. Even just the thought of lockdown again has got me wanting some banana bread, definitely. Arla and Grandpa came for a surprise visit and apparently picked up Elsie from school as a surprise. And the look on Elsie's face was amazing. So I'm so glad you got to see your nanny and grandpa before lockdown hit, and you won't be able to see them for a few months. But I'm sure you had a lovely time making memories this weekend with them. So that's awesome. Oh, the Vernons went to the beach last Sunday in the afternoon just to make the most of the weather, which is really, really cool. So here's Erin just enjoying herself at the beach, getting ready to go down, I think. There's Daddy Vernon, Rob, carrying all the bags, as daddies do. We do end up being the donkeys of the family, don't we? And looking very lost there, Rob. I have no idea where you're going to. The beach is behind you, by the way. Here's Olivia. Olivia's just saying, I ain't carrying anything. Either that or doing a dance. One of the two. Are you doing the jellyfish dance? Oh, no, the crab dance. Is this the crab dance? Yeah, it could be the crab dance. Maybe the crab dance. Somebody in the sea. It's either somebody in the sea or Loch Ness has gone on holiday to the beach. I'm not sure. It could be Loch Ness because, Lorraine is Scottish, so it could be that Loch Ness has come down for a holiday with them. I'm not sure. But yeah, somebody had a dip in the sea. And here are Olivia and Rob, Daddy Vernon, taking social distancing very, very seriously down at the beach, especially from one another. I'm not sure if it was something, maybe Rob told a dad joke and Olivia just didn't want to be around him anymore. That could be why. Look at that sky. The heavens declare the glory of God. How awesome is that sky? Beautiful, beautiful sky down at the beach. Oh, this is David. David did the craft last week, and look at that shield. That is an awesome shield. That's really cool. Who's on the shield? I can't see the picture. Ooh, looks like a road with some people. I'm not. Oh. Who's on the shield? I wonder who's on the shield. Anyway, let's have a look. Oh, some ultimate health and safety here. Guys, I probably wouldn't recommend doing this at home unless your mum or dad are there. Yeah, but the boys were helping their dad nail down the felt on top of the roof of the shed. Yeah, that looks like so much fun, I want to say. There was a wow and superb. Try to keep your work a little bit more neat for Andrash this week. Look at that, 100% score. That is fantastic. Well done, Andrash. And this is Anako's eye. Anako did a drawing. Apparently, Anako keeps saying that she's not very good at drawing. I think we should all bombard her with messages saying that she is very good at drawing and she's a fantastic artist, because this is incredible. It looks like it's looking right at me, right into my soul. It's looking at me. I'm getting... Oh, no, it's fantastic. It's a really, really good pencil drawing. Well done, Anako. Fantastic. Oh, and the boys were asked to clean out the puzzle cupboard, and apparently they couldn't decide which ones to keep, so they decided to keep all of them, and they just ended up stashing them up in their bedroom instead. So good luck with that one. Trying to clear out the cupboard, and just ended up with them all over the place. We do tend to do that in our house as well. Yeah, but all the intentions of clearing out a cupboard, and then it just ends up getting distributed around the house, because of course everything is essential to keep. And they went for an adventurous walk around Caerphilly, and up to Caerphilly Castle. And if you notice at the front there, they had some ice cream, and David had a blue lollipop. And of course, what happens when you have blue lollipops? You end up with a blue tongue. David, that tongue actually matches your eyes, which is quite impressive. So I didn't realise how blue your eyes were until I saw the tongue. That's really cool. Lucy did the craft last week as well. So Lucy has done the shield. Lucy, that is such a colourful shield. I'm loving all the colour. Look at that. That's really cool. So rather than doing the kind of rays coming from the cross, Lucy's put like the flowers at the top. That's really awesome. And some feathers. I gotta say, that is the most fierce shield ever. And I think that's the correct use of the word fierce in a lot of different levels. But that is the most fierce shield I have ever seen. I would be scared if I saw that coming at me. Definitely. But I would also be kind of like, what's going on? Because it's got love hearts on it. That's awesome. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic shield of faith there. They also, over the last few weeks, have been adventures up to Merthyr Mawr. So this is Merthyr Mawr Castle. And as you can see there, Lucy and Sammy sitting in front of the castle there. Oh, these are really cool. I so want to have a go at this. This looks incredible. So let's have a look. Oh, Lucy! I got to say though, you had some good stance right at the start there. Let's watch it. Let's watch it again just to see. Wee bonk. Awesome. I really like that stance though. That's really cool. And let's see. I think we got Sammy as well. Sammy, let's have a look and see what you got up to. Ooh. Oh, very good balancing, Sammy. Very good. That's incredible. Awesome. Oh, you guys look like you had so much fun. Oh, look at that. That looks like the Christmas card cover, definitely. Just put some Santa hats on there. Lupin, be quiet. I'm trying to record. Just put some Santa hats on there and some snow around everywhere. And then, yeah, you'd totally be able to have that as your Christmas card. The Barkers this week. The Barkers, finally... we picked all the apples at the allotment and we have put them through the press and they are currently fermenting in a demijohn. So as you can see, here we are. We cut up all the apples and then mashed them all up. And then we pressed them in the apple press and it got out all the juices and now it's all fermenting and making a lovely Christmas cider from the looks of it. So that should be fun to see what's going on. Next we have Lupin and Tony had a nice breakfast meeting in the garden. As you can see, there was some bananas, some bean sprouts, and some tomato on offer. Although Lupin didn't end up eating all of the banana, and some of it should have gone to Tony instead. But there we are. That's enough of that. And Heilwen. Oh, so Heilwen, we were on our way back from school this week when we noticed that one of the people who own a house next to the alleyways that we use to get to and from school, they have a passion fruit flower tree, bush, vine growing thing coming out of their garden, and it's kind of like it kind of leans across the wall and comes out into the pathway. And we saw the owner this week and she said we could pick some of the flowers. So this is Heilwen with one of the passion fruit flowers in her hair, which is really cool. We also had the church meeting this week. There was an open house meeting and there were so many people there. It was so wonderful to see all of the faces of people there. And I'm sure we're going to get the opportunity to see people's faces again, especially in Bethel Kids. Maybe we're going to look at doing a Zoom call or something soon so that we can all see each other's faces and have a natter together. This is Eli. So we did a cinema night at the house and we watched My Neighbor Totoro. Love that film. Really nice film. But Eli was the ticket conductor for the cinema. So this is Eli waiting in his box, waiting to collect all the tickets from everybody. And then we went conker hunting. So the conkers are out of the trees now. And so they're good to go to be picked up. So me and Eli went and got, I think we got like 14 or 15 conkers. Well, they were enough to fill his pockets anyway. And we really enjoyed going to see all the conkers. So that's really cool. Oh, and of course, this week we launched Bethelcraft, which is a Minecraft server that you can access. If your mums and dads should know all the details to access it by now. They've had an email, or if not, get in contact with me and I can get you the details over. But this is Heilwen's house. She's built it right next to where you spawn into the land. And I think Lucy has built a house next door as well. And there's plenty of other space around for you to add to the village. So it'd be great to see you join us on the server and come and build a house there. And then you can spend some time all together doing some things on Minecraft, which is really cool. Thank you so much, everybody, for sending in your pictures and your updates. It's always awesome to see what you've been up to and how you've been getting on. And I'm really praying for you during this lockdown time that you still get to do lots of fun things and spend time with your families.
My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. Have you heard the story about my friend King Dave? Wouldn't let the giant stand in his way. He said, hand me my sling, 'cause he's not that tall. My God is bigger and I'll watch him fall. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. Have you heard the one about this guy called Dan? Yes, he was a mighty holy praying man. They said throw him in the den with the scary beast. God saved the hero from the lion's teeth. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. This is more than history. He will do the same for me. Like Jonah and the whale at sea. When I'm lost and afraid, all alone in the dark, you were with me. Oh God, you're with me. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me. My God's the king of the giants. My God's the king of the lions. My God's the king of the creatures of the deep. My God's the king of me.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? So, this morning, our story and our main focus is going to be on the fact that God is sovereign. So, sovereign means that He's king over all things. He's in control of everything. Now, we're going to use a story about a time. We're going to use the story from 1 Samuel 19, actually. And we're also going to look at a psalm. A psalm is a song, right, in the Bible. There's a whole book of songs in the Bible. And we're going to use a Psalm 18. So we're going to look at the time when the Lord protected David. Now, David, you know, the guy who was anointed by Saul, oil poured over his head, and he was anointed by Samuel, not Saul, Samuel, to be king. And he was a really good singer-songwriter, kind of like the Ed Sheeran of his time. He wrote this psalm specifically, and he wrote some other psalms as well. But this one that we're going to do this morning, and the psalm is another name for a song, yeah? So as he looked back on how the Lord had protected him, he wrote this song. And it goes like this. I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to talk it because we don't know the tunes. So I'm not going to sing it, we're just going to say it. I love you, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress and my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge. He is my shield and my horn of my salvation. My stronghold. Do you remember when we did like the house on the rock and the sand? Do you remember when we did the shield? It's David's calling on these images of what God is like. I call to the Lord who is worthy of praise, and I am saved from my enemies. Therefore, I will praise you among the nations, O Lord. I will sing praises to your name. He gives his king great victories. He shows unfailing kindness to his anointed, to David and his descendants forever. I love the images David uses. So we're going to catch up with 1 Samuel 19, yeah? And so, quick catch up to understand where we are at in the story of David. David has just stepped in
and he conked Goliath on the bonce with a stone from his shepherd's sling. Bonk. And you know what? I know you guys like all this icky sticky stuff. He cut his head off for good measure to just make sure he wasn't going to cause any more harm to anybody. I know the Bible does include all the icky bits sometimes, but this is old style Bible. Okay, right, so because David pretty much saved the day, King Saul had him come live with him in the palace. He enjoyed having David available to play the harp. So David actually played the harp as well and played instruments. King Saul also sent David out with the army. However, something happened that turned King Saul against David. One day, when King Saul and David were returning from battle, the women came out to welcome them home. Oh, King Saul, King David, oh! They were dancing and playing tambourines and singing and doing their best TikTok dances, a little bit of flossing going on there and stuff like that. But most of all, it was the song that really got to King Saul. The women were singing, King Saul has killed his thousands, but David has killed 10,000 more. 10,000 is a whole lot more than 1,000. I mean, it's more than my fingers and toes. King Saul got very, very jealous. And these women were singing praises to David that were higher than the praises they were singing to the king. So from that moment on, King Saul had it out for David. Oof. It didn't matter to Saul that David was best friends with his son Jonathan. It also didn't matter to that David had married King Saul's daughter, Michal. All King Saul knew was that everything David did succeeded, and he wanted to get rid of him. He was jealous of David. King Saul did not just want to send David out of the kingdom, he wanted to kill him. One day, David was playing the harp. Bling, 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 bling. That's my harp impression. King Saul was overcome by his feelings about David. He picked up a spear and threw it at David. God was protecting David, and he was able to escape. Not long after that, King Saul sent his men to David's home to capture him. However, David's wife, his lovely wife, remember, is actually Saul's daughter as well, heard about this and helped David escape. Jonathan, his best friend and also Saul's son, came to the place where David was hiding. He told David that he would find out if his father, King Saul, remember, was still set on killing him. He told him that if he found out that King Saul was still angry, that he would shoot an arrow ding, past where David was hiding, so over the top. And if he found out that King Saul had changed his mind about David and maybe calmed down a bit, he would shoot the arrow and it would land in front of David. The day came when Jonathan was supposed to bring the information to David. What do you think David was thinking at this point? King Saul had already tried to kill him several times, including that thing with the spear. Would he give up and welcome David back? Or would David have to run for his life? Jonathan pulled out his bow. Best Katniss impression here. Put an arrow on it and let it fly. Boom. And the arrow went sailing, and it went over David's head and landed behind him. Jonathan and David told each other goodbye. They knew that David must leave and go and hide somewhere really far away. God had decided that David would be king. Remember that Samuel had already anointed David as the future king. God had looked at his heart and decided that he was the right person to be king. But I mean, you've got to look at it from David's point of view. You'd think by now David would admit defeat and wander off into wherever and just not bother coming back. With all these troubles and issues, it's clear to David that God wasn't going to be able to pull this kingship out of the bag. Nah, I think David should just give up, don't you? The king was trying to kill him, and he was going to have to leave the country and go into hiding, right? We can sometimes feel like that when things are hard and difficult and all in front of us, and we all get a bit overwhelmed. Like all the lockdowns that are going on at the moment and not being able to see family members. Things are hard, aren't they? But, and this is the big but, God still had things under control. He had placed people in the right places to help David. David's wife, Saul's daughter, had saved David's life. Jonathan, Saul's son, had saved David's life. God has his own timing. Often when we look at things and we think that they are impossible and things won't work out. But you know what? God is working it all out. He sees the bigger picture. He's able to put everything in place for us. So sometimes when we think it's impossible, all we have to do is look to God and know that all things are possible. God worked through the situation. And guess what? David went on to be king. And within his descendants, we find Jesus. The promise and the hope of the world. You see, God had a plan, and because he is sovereign over all things, everything bows to his will. If we trust in him and give him our lives, he will never steer us wrong and will always be with us. We've got an awesome craft this morning that you'll be able to see in a second, where we're going to be able to visualize the fact that God is king over all things. This is the craft this week. We are going to grab our printouts, so we'll need the printouts. And as you can see, there are two different crafts this week. So just in case you find the origami one really hard, there's this awesome colour fold reveal God is sovereign over all things poster that you can have as well, which is really, really cool. So we'll do that in a minute. But yeah, so what you'll need for this week's craft are some scissors, maybe a little bit of string, some sellotape, and some felt pens. What else do we need? Actually, it's a really simple week, so that's all we need. We don't need glue, we don't need anything else. So, we're gonna do this one first, and then we'll come to the origami in a minute. So with this poster, what we need to do is colour it in. And you know what I'm like, guys. The best thing I can do to colour it in is some magic clicks. Right, 3, 2, 1. Cool, so that's coloured in. As you can see, I've done the crown kind of like goldy yellow, and I've done God is Sovereign in red, because that's kind of regal and kind of royal. The purple is kind of regal and royal, so over all things. And we're using this morning the world to kind of symbolise all things. Because, yeah, pretty much everything we know and love is in the world, unless we're really good astronomers, in which case a lot of what we love is in the stars. So I've also included the stars look. And you can colour these in however you want. Your world could be a different colour if you wanted. It's up to you guys. So what you want to do with this fold to reveal, because it's quite a cool little thing, is you see this line here and this line here, you need to make those two lines meet like that. And then you fold it over, like so. Ooh. So that it's nice and crisp. There we are. So it just looks like, oh yeah, look. sometimes we can just look at God and look at the Bible and say, oh yeah, God is sovereign, oh okay, but what does that actually mean? And we need to reveal his glory by reading the rest of the Bible and realize that he is sovereign over all things, over all the world, over everything, over the universe, over our hearts, over our minds. God is sovereign over all things, and he works situations for our good. Awesome. So that is our fold to reveal poster, or pull to reveal poster. Yeah, either way. So yeah, so God is sovereign over all things. Awesome. Reveal God's glory in everything. Cool. So that is that poster. I hope you guys have fun doing that one. Right, we're going to go across the origami now. So with the origami, we've got these 2 sheets of paper that are on the handout this morning. So this one, you want to be colouring in these 2 triangles and the words God is sovereign. And the world, luckily, I found this printout which is awesome of the world. You just need to cut around the edges. Now leave the white boxes on there, so where you've got the little blue diamonds there, triangles there, you just need to cut down those lines and make it into a square, okay? And then with this one, you need to cut across the top there and cut across the bottom, and that makes that into a perfect square. So we can point the scissors, because I don't actually know how scissors work. Did you know that? I just point them and click. So 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So as you can see, these are all cut out now, and these are coloured in as well, and this is all in a square, which is cool. So like I said, don't forget, don't cut out the white bits in the corner, which is really cool. Okay, so with this one now, we are going to fold it in half so that the 2 triangles are next to each other, okay? And then we are going to fold this side into the middle like that. So it needs to be right in the middle, directly in the middle, okay? And then open it out, or well, leave it closed, and then fold this side into the middle as well. Like that. So we end up with this that looks like that, okay? The next bit we do is the bit that doesn't open, so this side if you look, there's 2 bits together. Ooh, there's 2 bits together like that. This side doesn't open, so this is the side that we need. We need to fold it over like that to the outside edge. So this edge goes to this edge. Just a little triangle in the corner. Right, that makes a really good crease. So the next bit, we open it out, and then we put our finger in the middle there, and then we go like that and press it down so that it becomes another triangle. Look at that, a bigger triangle. But this one's got kind of like a little pocket on the inside, which is really cool. So yeah, and then we can fold that over the back, ooh, like so. So what we end up with is those 2 pieces on either side of the paper. And we want to repeat that on the other side. So we open it up, and we squash the triangle flat, and then we fold it behind like the other side, okay? Ooh. Make sure all my creases are correct. There we go. Right. Cool, this is looking just like a square. This isn't a crown. What's going on? So we want to fold these corners here up to the middle like that. Ooh, hang on. This is starting to look a bit pointy now because of all the triangles everywhere. So this goes up there like that, and then this side we flip it over, and then we repeat it on the other side. So you notice that a lot of this is learning one fold, and then you just repeat it on all the other sides. So we end up with that. Kind of looks like a cool little hat, but actually it's this way around, and it will be a crown. So where we've got the triangles here, we want to fold those up like that. See, I told you it was going to come back out again. Cool. So then we flip it over and we fold this one up as well. Look at that. Cool colour. And then, watch this now. So it's a flat piece of paper. Down the bottom here, we can put our fingers into there like that. And then open it out and press down with our thumbs a little bit just to help the creases. And we have an awesome crown. Look at that. Look at that. So yeah, so have a go at that one. That's really cool. There's some other instructions online on YouTube and things that you can learn to make these awesome little origami crowns. So next we've got the globe. Now the globe, thankfully, comes with some instructions. So you'll notice on the bottom here, the awesome guys at Flaming Pear have given some instructions to go with it. But I'll do this anyway, just to show you. So what we want to do is we want to fold it that way, like a square. And we want to fold it across like that. So we make a big triangle, and then we open it out, and then we fold it the opposite way then as well. So we fold it so that we get 3 sets of lines. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 sets of lines, okay? And then what we do is we hold it like that, and then we fold that bit in like that, and then we fold that bit in like that. Now, it may look easy to me, but I know it can be difficult for you, but keep trying, watch what I just did, and because sometimes it can seem like a bit of magic with the first time you see some of these folds, but it's not, it's just folding paper. So we've got this awesome kind of medium triangle, because it's not as big as the big triangles, it's not as big as the small triangles. It's kind of a medium triangle. So what we want to take is, we want to take one of these little branchy bits here and fold it up into the middle. Like so. And do you know what? Guess what we're going to do? We're going to do it to all the sides. So we're going to do it to this one here. And we're going to do it to this one here. Like that. And we're going to do it to this one here. Like that. Cool. And then what do we do? So we've got this kind of like really teeny tiny square. So what do? Do you see there's like a little line down the world there? Well, that shows us that we need to fold these corners in like that. Okay? And as you can see, look, you can see that the pattern of the world is starting to match up. So we do that all the way around. So a lot of it is about repeating the folds. Like that. And then like that. So now we've got kind of like a stretched out diamond now, haven't we? So what's next? Next is, you see these white bits at the top? They need to fold down to become little triangles, like that. And then this is like a magic bit here, and I'm gonna come really close just so you can see this. Is you put your finger in there, into that little pocket there, and then you take this and you post it into that pocket. And then there we go. So that little triangle there is safely inside that pocket, and that holds that all together. And then you repeat that on the other side. So the triangle there, like that, triangle there, like that, and then post it into the thing there, into the pocket. Triangle there, triangle, and post it into the pocket. Last one, triangle, triangle, and post it into the pocket. Like so. Cool. So that is that done. But that's not a globe, is it? That's not a globe. So what you want to do is you want to grab some of the corners like that. So you want to hold it like that. And you see this end here that's got a little hole in. You need to take a deep breath, really big breath, and then you want to blow into that hole. And what it will do is blow it up like a balloon. Watch. Ta-da! So yeah, so you've got your cool little globe. And what can you do with this now is, well, as we were learning, God is sovereign over all things, and we're symbolizing all things with the world at the moment. So God is sovereign over the entire world. Through all of this pandemic, through all of the problems that we face, God is sovereign, and He'll never steer us wrong. Have fun doing this craft, and what you can do as well, just as a thing, you can take some string, you can put it into the world, and then you can dangle it from the crown so that it can become like a little mobile, like this. Ding-ling-ling, see? So you can become like a little mobile, so it can hang and dangle. Cool. Have fun doing these crafts and revealing God's glory in your life, and that God is sovereign over all things. We don't need to worry or be afraid. Awesome. Have an awesome time, guys. Bye-bye. We're going to finish up today by honouring God. And how do we honour God? We honour God by praying, and we honour God by reading the Bible and trying to memorise the verses as well. I know it's not always easy, but sometimes it's really good to have God's scripture in our head that we can call upon in times of need. So we're going to bow our heads, we're going to hold our hands together, and we're going to try and stay still so we don't fidget about. All right? And we're going to pray. Now, people next to you might not be praying, or people around you might not be praying, but if we just respect each other, that'd be awesome. Right, so bow our heads in prayer. Dear God, we want to know you more and more each day, and we pray we would understand what we are learning about you. We thank you that we can come to know you are sovereign over everything. You have all things under control, and that if we trust in you, you keep us safe. Help us to know that you are working in our lives and you are with us always. Amen. Amen. Cool. So the last thing we've got to do today is our memory verse. So our memory verse, if you remember, is Job 42:2. And that is, I know that you can do all things. No plan of yours can be thwarted. I know that you can do all things. No plan of yours can be thwarted. Thwarted. Cool, that's my lisp playing up. That is Job 42:2. And do you remember what we learned about David today? God's plan to have David be king and for that line of descendants to lead to Jesus. That plan wasn't thwarted by anybody else's actions. God knew what he was doing, and he kept David safe and put the right people in the right places. So guys, God's got a plan for you, and it'll never be thwarted. Have an awesome rest of Sunday, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.